This is a trench line that we was responsible for, and yet it still went on further down through here back to the MLR.
At age 75, Colonel Ola Lee Mize was sharp. In a detailed 2007 interview with the Congressional Medal of Honor Society, he described exactly where he was the night of June 10, 1953, Korea, near Surong-ni.
And I got a call from a squad leader, weapons squad leader, that something was wrong out in front of his position. He couldn't figure out what it was.
The hilltop resistance called Outpost Harry was under attack by thousands of enemy soldiers.
Chinese was coming, they hit us 3 companies. 3 different times. This is 1 battalion. They hit us the first time.
Sergeant Mize and the rest of the K Company were told to hold it at all costs.
Just automatically started spraying the hell out of it, all in bushes. There's bodies falling all over the place there. Well, about that time, they kicked off the artillery. I mean, they opened up, I thought the end of the world had come. And my poor little skinny rear end, I thought it was gone.
The enemy made it across the trench line.
They was coming all over the trench line, and I was just spraying them.
Mize was instrumental in protecting the wounded, resupplying ammunition, and organizing the counterattack that would save Outpost Harry and his fellow soldiers. He was hit with artillery and grenade blasts before calling in the airstrike that ended the fighting.
Caught them off guard. They were just shocked to hear Americans was coming down on top of them from that direction.
His actions over the course of those 16 hours earned him the Congressional Medal of Honor.
They said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Sergeant Mize." They said, "No, you're not. Sergeant Mize is dead." I said, "I hope not, sir. I'm standing here talking to you."
He was a character, that's for sure. They called him the Will Rogers of Special Forces.
Mize's widow, Betty, knew him long before his service.
When I first met Lee, I guess I was probably 10 years old. And I had a little crush on his brother, not him, but anyway, he was our paper boy for years.
Ever since he was a child, Mize says he wanted to be a soldier, but he knew he'd have to be tricky to make it happen.
When he was 5 years old, he was trying to get a knot out of something that was tied around some bottle or something. He took an ice pick and he was trying to get in, you know, that, and he went right in his eye.
Mize lost his vision in that eye.
When he finally got into the service and he had to take his physical, they didn't have those machines back then. They said, "Okay, cover your left eye." And he read the chart and it was fine. Now cover your right eye. And he just changed hands. And he was at the VA not too awfully long before he died. And they was doing an eye test on him, and he says, "Colonel Mize, how long you been blind in that eye?" He said, "All my life." "How in the world did you get through the service with just one eye?" He never thought he'd get caught.
He left for service, enlisting in 1950 in the 82nd Airborne. Later, he was deployed to Korea. It had been years since he saw Betty.
I didn't see him again until he came home from Korea, and a friend of his said, "Hey, you want a double date with Betty Ruth Jackson?" And he says, "Betty Ruth Jackson, oh no, she was so ugly she had horn-rimmed glasses and pigtails." Anyway, that started our little romance.
Obviously, things had changed.
I wasn't even that familiar with the Congressional Medal of Honor at that time, but I did learn it soon that he, you know, was a little bit important.
Soon after that first date,
he said, "Miss Jackson, you're going to be my wife." And I said, "Oh no, I'm not." He kept on.
Before they wed, they had another big life event. Mize had to accept his medal from President Dwight Eisenhower and attend the events that came with it. The pair fibbed about being engaged so Betty could go with him.
His mother, his grandmother, his granddaddy, his aunt, and we all went in one car.
The night before, she says the President of the United States had a very important conversation with her.
Eisenhower said, "Young lady, do you realize what being an Army wife is?" I said, "Not really." He said, "Well, he has to go, you know, where they tell him to go. And would you be willing to go?" I said, "Yes, sir, if I can." That's him pinning the medal on over there, Eisenhower. And over here, it's where he's congratulating him.
Mize went on to serve in the Vietnam War and Special Forces.
He did get shot in the arm one time in Vietnam, 32 years and in and out of combat. That's the only time he actually got really wounded. And the Lord, he gives the credit to the Lord for that too.
Betty and the family supported him both near and far. His service and accolades led to a lifetime of experiences and travels.
I've got so many proclamations, pictures, citations. There's some on the floor over there. There's some in the floor over there. And some under my bed, and some, I've got a trunk full of stuff that they're not really hidden. I just didn't have any more wall space, or I didn't want to hang them from the ceiling. So that's a good likeness of him there too. Silver Star, Bronze Star, and Purple Heart under the Medal of Honor.
Mize died in 2014. He led a life of extraordinary action at the cost of what some would call a normal family life.
We went on a trip to Washington, D.C. I think it was probably another convention. And all the way up there, he began to tell me things that had happened from the time he went into the service up until that time, and he had never talked. And I said, of all times, you're telling me this, I'm driving and I don't have a tape recorder, and I'll never remember all you told me.
Serving in the military is a higher calling. Actions that earn a Medal of Honor require bravery, courage, and sacrifice.
He was very humbled about it. Before he died, he said, I didn't deserve that. Said, all those men that was with me deserved it.
And that resigned to sacrifice is required of a service member's entire family. And it's one the Mizes lived well.
He was devoted to Army. It was God first, and then it was family, and then it was serving his country.